In this video, we are going to make this cute cold shoulder houndstooth sleeve inspired sweater perfect for the spring. So the things you'll need are your 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, some measuring tape, a darning needle, and some stitch markers. You will also need any color of size 4, well, category 4 weight yarn. Any color will do. I'm using this black from Red Heart Super Saver. And this white is from Lion Brand Pound of Love. I'll put a link to it in the description so that you can purchase this if you're interested. You will need about 1,100 yards of your primary color and about 370 yards of your secondary color. My primary color is black and my secondary color is white. While I clean up my space, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It's a free way to support my channel. Thank you again so much. Let's get started. So we're gonna start our shirt, our body portion of the shirt. Anyway, so you can measure from your armpit down to where you want your shirt to end. I wanted like a little side boobage thing happening because of the way I want to design this shirt. I want it to be very seductive, and so I'm gonna start my shirt a little bit lower than I would start a usual top. And we're gonna only make it 11 inches from my armpit to where I want my shirt to stop. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and chain 11 inches. So it comes out to about 10 inches and some change when I lay it down flat, but stretched it goes it goes to 12 actually. So I'm gonna stop here because once I start doing the work, the stitches are gonna stretch anyway. So you can go ahead and make your chain as long as you want your shirt to be from your armpit to your waist. And we will not be adding a band on the end of this shirt unless you want to. That's your preference. I will not be. So then we are going to prepare for a half double crochet. Skip that first stitch and then just go right into that second stitch with your half double crochets. Go ahead and make half double crochets to the end of your row and meet me back here for the next row. All right, so I have my row of half double crochets. Now we're gonna start row 2. So for row 2, you just chain 1. Working through the back loop only, do this entire row of slip stitches. And if you watch my crossover mini skirt tutorial, this is the exact same stitch that I use. Well, the exact same, I guess, pattern. And this is the exact same stitch series that I used in my crossover mini skirt tutorial. Just one row of slip stitches and one row of half double crochets in the back loop only. The next row will be a row of half double crochets worked in the back loop only. So go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, and then work your half double crochet. So we are going to continue the series of alternating between half double crochets and slip stitches until this portion here measures from the center of your armpit to the end of your armpit, right where we're going to start increasing to go up to the neck of our of the front of our panel. So go ahead and continue to make your armpit portion of your shirt, and we're gonna come back once we finish that and we're ready to start increasing. I have reached the end of my slip stitch row, and why does it look so dark here? I did not mention it, but I prefer it, or it is preferred if you end on a slip stitch row, so that when you work your way back up to do your increases, you increase on your half double crochet row. So I am gonna start my half double crochet row now. Oh, and by the way, this is the armpit portion of my shirt, and this portion is 2 inches wide. So if you want to make your shirt like mine, my shirt would be a size medium large, and it is stretchy. So if you want to just follow the way that I'm doing it with my numbers, you can go ahead and make your underarm portion just 2 inches wide. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, and then work your half double crochets all the way to until you have 1 stitch remaining on your row. So we have just 1 stitch left on that row. We're going to go ahead and make 2 half double crochets in that back loop. Chain 1, turn your work, and then go ahead and put 2 single crochets in that first stitch, skipping that chain stitch. So you're gonna, can you see? All right, you're gonna skip this one, go into the next one, and add 2 slip stitches in that 1 stitch there. And you've just created 2 increases, and you can go ahead and move your stitch marker up to the to that last stitch there, just so that you are aware that that is where you would make your last stitch on your next row. And go ahead down your entire row and make 1 slip stitch. Come back up this row and make another half double crochet row, and meet me back when you have 1 stitch left on your half double crochet row. I reached the last stitch on my half double crochet row, so I'm going to go ahead and add 2 half double crochets in that last stitch, creating an increase. Chain 1, turn my work, skipping that chain stitch we did, and adding 2 slip stitches in that first stitch on the row. I'm going to go ahead and move my stitch marker up. Let's put it right here. Okay. And go ahead and make your slip stitches all the way back down. We are going to keep working the same pattern until our shirt measures 17 inches from the bottom, until my shirt measures 20, can I talk? Until my shirt measures 17 inches. So essentially I want to keep going until my shirt is coming to like just right above my collarbone, because we're still going to add a collar to this shirt. So go ahead and alternate your rows with the slip stitch and the half double crochet, creating your increases at the beginning of, or at the end of each row, however, at the end of the half double crochet row and the beginning of the slip stitch row, and keep going until your shirt is measuring from the bottom, resting from the bottom of where you want it to rest and reaching to right above your collarbone. And then we will stop increasing and come back so we can continue working our pattern. All right, so I'm at a portion of my sweater where I'm gonna start just crocheting straight across. There are two ways you can do this. You can do this by holding it up to your body and measuring it against yourself to see what are the next steps that you need to take. If you need to go ahead and start your decreasing in your armpit portion, or you can do it by measurements. I personally use both methods. So I did measure myself across the fullest part of my bust, and that was 27 inches. And I'm gonna be wearing this shirt a little bit stretched. I don't want it too stretched because I don't want you to see, you know, once you stretch knit so much, you can see straight through it. So I want to stretch it, like give it a little bit. So I will know that it needs to be 27 inches, the front panel. And let's say I give it like a little stretch. Then I will know that I need to at least start my decreases when I have 11 inches of my shirt left to go. So once I have about 16 inches done, which gives me a good 4 or 5 inches of front panel to work with, I know that I need to start decreasing and getting that armpit panel put into place, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. You just want to break up your top into smaller portions. Like I know here I have 2 portion of armpit, 8 portion of increases. Stretch, the measurements are different. I'm gonna go ahead and make my 5 inches of front panel just evenly across, no increases or decreases. And then once I hit 16 inches, I'm gonna start with my decreasing for 8 inches, and then the 2 inches left for the armpit panel. And I will be walking you through everything, so don't worry. I just wanted to give you guys the math. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. So this is the front panel, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do it like I've been doing it, which is the slip stitching down and then the half double crochet back up. So go ahead and finish the amount of coverage you need for the front of your panel before we start on our decreases, and I will be back to go through the decreases with you. Okay, so I reached the point in my shirt where I'm gonna have to start my decreases now. So the decreases is gonna start on this row here, and let me show you how I do that. And we have 2 stitches left on our row. I'm sorry, can you guys see that? We have these last 2 stitches left on our row, and we're gonna go ahead and half double crochet those 2 together. And then we're gonna pull through all of those. Chain 1, turn your work, and then we're going to slip stitch these 2 together, and then do your slip stitches all the way down. And we're just gonna go ahead and repeat that until we end up with the same amount of stitches, which was how many stitches? Oh, we did inches. So we're gonna work as many decreases as we did increases. So I worked 23 increases, and that means I'm gonna work 23 decreases. So this is, I've already worked 2. Okay, so in order to work our decrease, we have these last 2 stitches left on the row, and we're gonna go ahead and make a half double crochet decrease. So yarn over, preparing for a half double crochet, go through 1 loop, pull through, yarn over, go through the other back loop, come through, yarn over, and pull through all 5 stitches on your hook. Chain 1, turn your work, and we're gonna do a decrease on this row as well. So we're going to prepare, well, we're going to work slip stitches, decrease slip stitch. So go through that first back loop like you're gonna do a slip stitch, pull your yarn through, go through that second back loop, pull your yarn through, and then slip stitch all through 2 of those loops. And you've worked your slip stitch decrease. And you are going to continue to work your decreases until you end up with the same amount of stitches that you started with for your armpit row. So you're going to work the same amount of decreases that you worked increases. So I've reached where my armpit portion would be, and I'm going to start making even rows with no increases or decreases. And again, a cool trick you can do to show you where you are when you are decreasing is to match up your 2 sides, and you'll see where you are. So if you are still needing to decrease, you'll see that there. If you are needing to go ahead and just make even rows, you can also do that. So go ahead, make your even rows, finish out your panel, and then go ahead and make your second panel. And meet me back here once you've got your second panel done. Okay, we have both of our panels done. So what we're gonna do now is lay them right sides facing. So this one is gonna be right, so your first panel is gonna be right side up, and then your second panel is gonna be upside down, and match them up. They should match up perfectly. Can you see? Yep. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and sew up my side seams, which is just the armpit portion, and you can use whatever sewing method is comfortable for you. I like to single crochet my seams closed, going through the front stitch of the panel closest to me and the back loop of the panel furthest away. So firstly, let us go ahead and secure. And then go through the front panel here. I'm gonna go ahead and first go through both loops of the panel furthest away, just to secure the yarn in between. So how am I explaining this? Okay, so I am gonna go take my yarn, the working yarn, and bring it underneath the 2 stitches that it's closest to, and then take it through the other 2 stitches on the opposite panel just to secure them, the 2 panels together. And now I'm gonna go through that same exact stitch we just went in, go through the front loop, the one closest to you, and then go through the back loop of the panel furthest away and single crochet. That is how I do it. You're welcome to do it however you want, but yes, I go through the front loop of the first one, the first panel, and the back loop of the second panel. And you just do that on both sides and close up your seams. And then we will meet back here for our collar. We have the seams all sewed up, and we are going to go ahead and just make our foundation for our collar. And we are going to start right here in the middle of the back panel. You can decide what's going to be the back. Both panels look identical, so it really doesn't matter. And you're going to put a single crochet into every side stitch. So even though this is a half double crochet, you're gonna go ahead and make a single crochet right in there, and do that till we reach the end so we can discuss how we're going to do that portion. Okay, so we're already at the corner of our back piece. Now, I guess this involves a little bit of math because I want my collar to be 15 inches stretched. So that means the foundation, because it's a single crochet, it might have to be 15 inches, and we have 4 sides. So we're going to do 15 divided by 4, which would be about 3.5 inches, or a little over 3 inches. So let me see, which is slightly accurate, almost 4 inches. So we know these two sides are already 4 inches, so that's 8 inches right there. So now we just have to do 15 inches, subtract 8 from that. We subtract that 8 from 15, that gives us 7, which means that the sides here are going to be about 3.5 inches, because we have to divide that 7 by 2. Let's go ahead and do those 3.5 inches of crochet. So I have my 3.5 inches of chain done, and we're going to attach it to the other side here. Go ahead and turn your work and do the same thing on the other end. Go ahead and put a single crochet in every side stitch. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and do another chain here of the 3.5 inches. So I have my 3.5 inch chain, and then I'm gonna go ahead and attach it to the other side of my sweater here. Turn your work, and then go ahead and continue until you meet up with the beginning single crochet. And at this point, you can go ahead and try your sweater on, pull it over your head to make sure it fits over your head. because if not, you're gonna have to do some adjusting, making it a little bit bigger than you might have thought that you needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and go down a hook size to a 4.5 millimeter hook, and what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and create the width of the collar, I guess, or the length of it. And I want the length of my collar to be about 2 inches. And I'm making very loose stitches here because now I'm downsizing my hook and I don't want my collar being too tight. All right, so I have 7 stitches, chain 1, and then we're gonna work a single crochet in the back loop only. Once you have your 7 stitches down, you're gonna go ahead and go through the next available stitch on that row. You're gonna go ahead and go through the next available stitch and do a slip stitch, and then do another slip stitch through the next available stitch. Turn your work and single crochet through the back loop only the 7 stitches up. So if you need to put a marker anywhere to as a reminder, you can do that, but you're only working the 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, you're skipping those first 2 because you just made those. Single crocheting through the back loop only. Turn your work. And we're gonna do this until we meet back up here. We're gonna do a single crochet for every stitch that we made. So we're gonna go ahead and single crochet down 7. Go into both loops of the next available stitch, do your slip stitch, and then do another slip stitch into the next available stitch. Turn your work. And then we're gonna go back up 7. All right, this is the last one I'm gonna do with you, and then you're on your own.
So go ahead and complete the same pattern all the way around, completing your collar, and then check the description below for the link to part 2. In that video, I will show you how to make your sleeves and attach them, completing your sweater. Thanks again for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up as well as subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video.